Hello, and welcome to Have At Us, Reviews for Your Pleasure. I'm Nietzsche.
And I'm Joshua.
And this is episode 14, Who's Your Daddy? Today, we are talking about Remember the Titans. It's not what you thought we were talking about, is it?
What else would come to mind?
Uh-huh. Feigning innocence over there. You are far less innocent than I am.
I'm a very innocent man.
Not even close to true. But, this is an old film.
2000.
Yeah, 2000. Now, you had never seen this film.
That is correct.
But you hum this music all the time, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, there's like two songs in here that I care about. I like the songs.
I feel like it's the only two songs that people care about. Like, the other songs are popular and they get played on stations, but people, remember that these songs are from this movie.
Or at least used in this movie.
Yeah, that's a better phrase. They're used in the movie.
Yeah.
There's going to be some heavy, wonderful spoilers. We're talking about the whole film. It's going to be great. If you somehow haven't seen this film like Josh, then that's on you. We're going to spoil it for you. What's your initial thoughts on this wonderful film?
It's a very safe film.
What do you mean by safe here?
It's a movie that's produced and made to not take risks in hurting, feelings or stepping over boundaries. It's clearly made to be inspirational, and it's an easy story. I feel like sports movies in general are probably pretty easy, but this film just feels like an easy movie that has a good message, so it's safe.
That's fair. I think this is the only sports film I have ever really watched.
I've seen a few. The only name of one I could think of off the top of my head is Moneyball. I've seen that, but that's I don't know them all. I've seen a couple football movies.
I feel like in America, most sports movies seem to be football movies.
Or baseball.
Baseball's not even a real sport.
It's the best sport.
That's a lie.
I'm going to need you to step that back a little bit. It is the best sport.
The rest of the world believes it's soccer.
Soccer sucks.
And I'm gonna stick with my foreign friends over here.
Soccer sucks. Or football, as it's said.
That was racist. Did you learn nothing from this movie?
Apparently not. But football, it sucks. It's a bad sport. Everyone hates it. No one likes it. Baseball is the all-American dream sport. It's the best sport. Even hockey's better than soccer.
That's not even true. That's hurtful. Anyway, you have bad opinions on sports. I have the correct opinions because we both watch a lot of sports.
I'm an expert.
Mm-hmm. Who played in the Super Bowl last year?
Last year? Bengals, I think, is one of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a California team.
Uh-huh.
Best I got.
That's legitimately impressive. I wanted to prove the point that I feel like you knew nothing. It's the LA Rams.
Okay.
And the Bengals.
Yeah.
Anyway, I agree this is a family movie, right? It's a movie that's supposed to, be a movie you can watch with anybody.
It is Disney.
It is Disney. It was Disney when it was produced, right? It's hard to remember what Disney has bought and is now on Disney+.
Yeah, I think it's always been Disney.
Okay. Yeah, it's a family movie. It's fine. I feel like it's not as good as I remember this movie being. I think it's like the second or third time I've watched this.
Now, how long ago was the last watch?
No, it was a while ago. Probably my teenage years.
Okay, yeah. You're getting pretty old, so...
27's pretty old.
Yeah, you're ancient.
Basically, I feel old. I feel like as an adult, you watch this and you're just like, the quality of this is a lot less than I feel like it was. There's a lot of unresolved weird points that happen. It's not as good.
What points are you talking about?
There's the kissing scene with Sunshine. That's just a weird shoehorn scene that then we do a little bit more with and then we never talk about it again.
It was weird because it was so unexpected. It just didn't seem like that was going to happen, and then bam. You could argue that was just sexual assault. Probably is, by, definition, right?
Harassment, probably.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Not a good move to be making.
He's just comfortable in his sexuality.
It would seem so. Good for him.
Except I never see him, get with any of these women that are ogling after him, so...
Well, why would he get with women?
Mm-hmm. That's my deal. I don't have a clear answer either side,
Well, I think
Maybe he's bisexual.
Isn't that the point? Like, why does it matter?
That was that was his point. And that's a fine scene where he argues his way out of that. I'm not saying it matters for my opinion of him, but I would like the information given to me.
Well,
right? It matters on the information front, just as like a checked box, right?
I understand what you're saying. I just think that the point the movie would be trying to make is that it doesn't matter.
I feel like you're like splitting hairs on it at that point, though.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, 2000, that's 22 years ago. So it is pretty old. It would be like, I don't know what, I mean, I was 7 or 8 when this movie came out. Probably 7, based on where my birthday's at. But, so I don't really remember what the culture around homosexuality was in that time. I have no real context. I don't know. And I don't know what kind of portrayals of it you would see in a movie like this in that time.
Disney felt comfortable putting that scene in their movie.
They did.
And Disney is notoriously like, nope. So it had to be fine. I don't know. I don't really know. I just feel like there was things like that. There was like the tension at school that we then see once, and then we move on from. There's the deal with Sunshine again, where he doesn't realize how like incredibly racist people are, and they walk into the restaurant, and then they all just walk away from each other, segregated, and then it's like, okay, like we never resolve these things. They're just kind of there for the emotive point. And I feel like as a teenager, maybe that was fine, and I moved on. But as an adult, I think back, and I'm like, God, we didn't resolve that. That was kind of stupid.
Well, the resolution for at least the point with them walking into the diner was, I think, that there was still friction, of course, after camp with all these players, and they hadn't really resolved that yet, and that was a problem in their next game. And then afterwards, they come back to the gym all together without the coaches, and they say, hey, we gotta figure this out again, even though, we worked in camp, but now we're in the real world. Now we're kind of back into these warring factions, and so we really gotta pull together. And so I think that's what they're going for there. Now, I would have liked to see some resolution with the restaurant, but we do get in the, later in the film, where they're doing the montage, we do see them at a restaurant. I don't know if that's supposed to be the same one, though. I couldn't really tell. Where they're like, Titans eat free, and then the white woman comes over and erases that free part. And I was like,
that's unfortunate.
I mean, who doesn't want a free meal?
It's also very vague. Like Titans football? No. Everybody who goes to, Tennessee? What's the name of the school?
T.C. Williams.
Yeah.
Tennessee. In Virginia, there is a school called Tennessee.
Tennessee's a name. Like Tennessee Williams?
Yeah.
It's a name. So don't give me your crap about that. I'm right. You're wrong. So, you suck. You don't know the name of this high school, and I did. That's the moral of the story right now.
Mm-hmm.
End of the episode. But yeah, there were several things like that where we just didn't resolve it. There's the deal, where Coach Yorks, or whatever, what's his actual name?
Yost.
I kept hearing not Yost. Every time I felt like it was different. And then I saw it at the end and I was like, oh, your name is Yost. Okay. I heard that wrong every single time, buddy. But Yost, over there, where his daughter's over there with Coach Boone, and then they just, throw a brick through, and they, have that confrontation about it, and then they just walk into the gym, still having all this tension, and I feel like if your child's endangered and you were, upset, you would have more of a confrontation about that. You'd have to deal with that.
Coach Boone, his comeback on that was pretty good.
I mean, I think it's quality, right? You don't actually know, how bad racism is, because nobody's racist towards you because you're white, basically.
I mean, that's definitely what that scene is saying. This takes place in 1971, so 51 years ago. Things were pretty heated, in the movie. And this is based on a real story, so I'm assuming in real life this was this first school in the area to become, what's the term?
Integrated. All
right. And that would be a big deal, but it certainly wouldn't have come without some pretty unfortunate things too. Riots and whatever else. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was more protests than riots in the film, but
Yeah, I just don't feel like they like resolved a lot of things very well. Like, I feel like we kind of just go like, well, things were bad, now they're okay. Like, I feel like they're at camp, like things resolve really well, right? They do their thing, they grow, they figure it out a little bit, and then they come back, and then they're still kind of trying to like keep the camp spirit alive, but it doesn't work very well, right? Because not everybody went to camp with them. And so now it's this whole game. And I feel like that felt good. Felt like we resolved that. And then we just kind of don't do anything. We don't do that very often, right? I'm going to make it feel like we're still in the real world. It's still just kind of like a fantastical film. And I get it's a 2-hour film. You had to get some things done and move on. I mean, you could have cut Sunshine kissing him. I could have moved on from that. Could have moved on. Sunshine scenes, basically. Sunshine wasn't great. I feel like you could have just cut Sunshine.
But he was a real person, so you can't cut him.
He's a real person.
Yeah. These are all real people that these characters are based on.
Every single one of them, huh?
The main characters, he's one of the main-ish characters.
I don't know.
He's like one of the... Well, he's like the second quarterback, right?
Basically.
But, yeah, he plays in a pretty important part.
I mean, he plays an important part on the team.
Yeah.
So do like some of these linemen that don't get named. So, I mean...
That is one of my problems with this movie is a football team is pretty big because you got your offensive and defensive line and backups and whatever else. And there's only really a handful of people we get to know. And I could only remember a couple of the names. I could remember the coaches, Julius, Gary, and then like Big Blue.
That's fair. I don't remember most of their names. There's Rev. Like, you should have remembered Rev.
Yeah, Rev was one of them. I guess I remembered Sunshine, but not his actual name.
I don't know. And then Ray, one of the white kids who gets kicked off.
Was it Ray?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name's Ray.
Well, was that the one that like let the guy come through and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broke his wrist.
Yeah.
Well, fractured something.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy was a problem.
Yeah, but like there's no resolution with that kid, right?
Well, he got kicked off.
Yeah. But he doesn't, like, come around. He's not still stuck in his ways. I don't know anything. Right? He gets kicked off.
I don't know. I feel like that's... I don't know that you needed to resolve that.
I feel like I needed more at, like, all points in this film was the problem.
So do you think this movie should have had another 30 minutes on it?
I feel like you could have added a little bit, taken some of the unnecessary things out.
All right, well, why don't you tell me what character did you like the most?
I mean, the best character is probably Denzel Washington, right? But he is a great actor.
Yeah.
And so he just sells the role really well, right? I believe that he is legitimately, like, in this position, doing this, and, right, he's funny. He's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But he cares. He's smart, perceptive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he pushes too far sometimes, but...
Right. Well, I think that was kind of the dynamic between him and Bill. It was Bill Yost, right? The other coach. I think it was Bill Yost. Sure. Whatever. The actor's name is Bill Patton, so it's I don't know. That was just a coincidence, but I agree. I think Herman Boone was the best character. I thought he was engaging. Definitely, I have to agree. I mean, Washington is just a good actor, and he comes in. And he really, like, he makes you think, yeah, this guy's actually a coach. If I went to Virginia right now, I'd find this guy, and he'd be a coach down there.
Yeah, he takes control of the situation. He acts, like a football coach. Because I hear them frequently for the middle school that's next to us.
Oh.
And he sounds, meaner, because it's probably hard to be that mean to middle school children in this day and age. But pretty similar. He even got his little chant thing going. So I guess that wasn't his idea. At least their chant actually went together.
Could you reenact this chant for me?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, dang, too bad.
You're welcome to sing it.
No. I will grace the people with my singing another time.
That's a promise. You hear that? You guys better hold him to this. You need to pick, like, a Disney film and a song in it. And we're going to watch that, and he is going to sing at least a bit of that song for us. It's going to be good.
It's going to be great.
I'm excited. But until that point, most of the other characters are just kind of there, right? I feel like they're there and they serve their role. But they don't do much else. Like, they advance the story. But I don't feel like anyone is someone that I could be attached to.
I think both of the coaches I understand as characters, and there's something to kind of follow with them. But they're also like adults that are reasonably mature, and they kind of face their own adversity, of course, with it, and they come together. I can get that. But with the players, I mean, a large part of the team was just no-named. But of those that you get right, they don't actually have a lot of lines, I think, in this film. Because it's so spread out. I mean, Julius and Gary kind of are the most prominent.
Well, they're clearly the leaders of their respective race side.
Yeah, exactly. And their conflict is representative of the whole movie. And then, they start off as adversaries, rivals, they don't like each other, and then they kind of confront each other, and then they kind of gain some respect, and then they come together, they become fast friends. And, I feel like if you're watching this movie and you see them sitting together on the bus, you go, okay, this is what's going to happen with this character dynamic. And it's not bad, but like I said, it's safe. You know what's coming.
Yeah, well, the bus scene where they're right there is, like, very clear, right? He's like, I don't want to hear any of your, jolly singing or whatever. Like, and he's like, yeah. And he tells him to shut up too. And, like, they're both in the grumpy, like, oh my gosh. That's stupid. And so they're clearly the same attitude. But they listen to Julius when he tells them to shut up. Right? So he clearly has established, like, he's the leader. Right? People will do what he says. Yeah, so they're very much, the mirror images. And that had to be resolved so that everybody would get along.
Exactly.
I feel like the best part of this movie is the leadership, right? You get to see different facets of leadership and how people resolve that. And that's great.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's a strong point. I mean, the football in this movie was underwhelming when it came to the actual games that we're watching themselves. Like, I think the movie did a pretty poor job of making you see the plays and, like, understand how much yardage is being gained or lost. I can't even see the line of scrimmage on the field. I don't know what's going on. Well, I understand what's going on, but I just don't feel like the perspective was very good. Now, I'm also used to watching football from a television, the rare times that I do. But I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't done particularly well.
You needed a higher up camera.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any shot where it's, like, higher up. It's all from the ground.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably more accurate to, like, a coach's perspective. And that's probably the idea, is to give it that grounded perspective. And that's fine, but I also think it's a movie, and showing the plays, I think, is cool. Like, I don't dislike watching the sport, so if you're going to do it, I'd at least like to see it properly. Also, I was wondering, for the filming of this, how hard is it to take I guess they are called takes, for the film of the plays? I don't know.
Not that hard.
Yeah, I can't imagine, like...
You're gonna stand right here. You're gonna do this. Done. Like the ball, it could go off and, not get caught or something, but...
I wonder if any of them kind of got into the headspace of, like, I'm a football player. I'm playing football. And then they just started actually playing and, like, just tackled, like, the quarterback on accident. Like, I was just in the mood.
Well, some of those hits are probably pretty real.
Yeah.
So, probably falling onto like, a pad or something.
Maybe.
Maybe they just take the hit.
Yeah. They're just like, no, I got this.
I don't know. But, like, none of these kids following on characters are kids, for the most part. Most of them don't. Most of them look like they're in their 20s.
The only one that I could buy was Ryan Gosling. I thought, okay, you look reasonably young here. It has been a while. However, everyone else, I was like, you are 10 years too old to be playing this part.
I don't know if they all look that old, but yeah.
I just thought it was really funny. I was just like, I get it. Sometimes it happens, right? You get Tobey Maguire in the original Spider-Man movie. He doesn't look like a teenager. But it's fine.
I don't know, I haven't seen it. I don't know about Tobey Maguire's nonsense Spider-Man. I mean, recently you got good old Tom Holland. He looks like a young kid.
Yeah, he works. Right, he's young-ish. He's in his 20s.
I think he's like 19, 20.
I think he's older than that now.
Maybe now, but he's pretty young.
Yeah, he's still young. So, that works. But, for this film, was there any students that you did like? That you were like, okay, I kind of like this character. Or, I kind of felt like they were all kind of just typecast. And they work for their part. But, they're not dynamic. Not really something to, really, leash onto and be interested in.
I mean, I agree with that. It's very much just, people in roles. I didn't hate any of them. They had funny moments, but I didn't love any of them. I wasn't like, man, you're all great. But the only person who's good is Boone.
Yeah.
I believe that. Feel good about that.
I think that's fair.
His wife is kind of weird. She's just not there enough, and it just seems like you got, some C-tier actress, and just, her makeup was weird. Her eyes were just, bugging out to me. I was not a fan. She was kind of creeping me out a little bit.
Okay. I don't know that I pay that much attention to her.
Mm-hmm. That's rude.
I suppose. What did you think of the daughter?
Which one?
The,
3 of them.
The Yost daughter. Shirley, or...
I don't remember her name.
Whatever it was.
I mean, her acting was good. She really sounds like a kid who's basically been indoctrinated into football by her father.
She was born and then he was like, all right, kid. This is how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, well, the movie starts off his wife left him, but she chose to stay with her father.
Yeah.
Right?
The football. What it's all about.
Yeah. In her world, it is. I don't know. But yeah, her acting is good. I mean, she has good scenes when they're at, Boone's house and he's over there like, why don't you go accessorize? And she gives him the look and you're just like, oh, okay. It's a really good, child's perspective on that, right? That's the look a child would give me if they're like, no way in hell am I doing anything that just came out of your mouth. Don't even try. I'm going to throw a fit. I am not above crying on the ground and wailing. Will do. Do not. That's what that look says. That's good. Because she's 9.5, right? Kids at 9.5 still have meltdowns in public places.
Yeah, they're not quite past that.
It's not often. I feel like it's a tactic at that point. It's well, I really do want this.
That toy's looking pretty good.
I'm sure this was you all the time in the store. Doing meltdowns.
I don't know that I did that very often.
I can only remember having a meltdown once. When I was pretty young. I was probably 5 or 6.
Do you know what it was for?
Oh yeah, one of those little fruit roll-up type things. They were normal ones.
Okay.
I was so set. I'd never eaten one, and I was just set. I really wanted this, and I had a whole meltdown, and then we couldn't get it, and I was so sad. And then we got one, and then it wasn't good, and I didn't even eat it. It's the most child thing ever, too.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, because I've seen that with some kids, where they get really excited, or they really want something, and then once they get it, it's no, I'm good. It wasn't what I wanted.
It just didn't taste good to me. and then I was like, I don't want to eat it. And my mother put up with that. It was fine. But I remember that, and I just think, man, that's awful.
What a stupid kid you were.
Yeah, what a stupid child I was.
Now, you participated in sports in high school.
I participated in sports at every grade level, basically.
Did you ever attend a camp?
No. I've done, church camps and stuff, but never, a sports camp.
How did you see that happen with any sports at school or anything like that?
Were they have camps?
Yeah.
No. I knew of camps and stuff. Generally, those are private things, though. Generally, there's in the summer, you'll have here's our soccer camp. Because those are the ones kids talk about, right? Because that's the best sport. Glad your silence is agreeing. And, so you pay to go out for a week and spend time with cool, people in soccer or whatever, right? And they teach you skills and, yeah.
And then you become a professional.
You probably don't, but yeah.
I just wondered how accurate something like that would be in a high school setting, where it's like, okay, we're going to go to camp for some time.
2 weeks, I think.
Was it 2 weeks? I don't remember. They disclosed it. But you go for a couple weeks, and then we come back. I mean, training goes on for a while before the season starts, but I just don't know. I played no sports in school.
Mr. No Fun over here.
Yeah, you know what I did? I went home, played video games.
Like a slacker.
That was my primary goal.
Basically what you do now.
Wow, okay.
I mean, it's probably accurate to some degree. I don't know how accurate. I don't know how much you could get away with in modern day, I guess.
Well, especially with being so strict, I suppose.
I don't think you get away with that level of kind of militant atmosphere.
Yeah. It did kind of feel like a boot camp.
I mean, that doesn't feel like the point.
Yeah.
Right? He's trying to break them down and build them back up. He successfully does.
He ran them to the cemetery of the Battle of Gettysburg. Kind of had a speech there.
He has a little speech. I like that he is not tired at all. Like, he's not breathing heavy. He's like, nah, we just ran probably, several miles. I'm good.
He's just that much of an athlete.
Uh-huh. It's just, I feel like, an oversight where they should have directed that to be delivered in like a, slightly breathy fashion.
Yeah, but then you couldn't have that music come in.
You could have.
And have it be this really grand speech where he's really just talking about coming together and being the best. It just wouldn't deliver the same.
Be more realistic, though.
It would be more realistic. That's true. Maybe they give him a lot of time. Like, our coach needs to make a speech. Let's give him like 20 minutes. Catch his breath.
He probably need 20 minutes. Or he could have got there and, you could have let the scene just play itself out. Could have been like, do you know where we're at? And then just let that sit for a little bit longer. Let that sit for like a minute. They're all looking around at each other, looking at the gravestones. Maybe some of them walk up to one. Right, and then he gives a speech, because he could have caught his breath by then. If you're in good shape, like, I'm pretty good, and I could talk normal after like a minute and a half. After about a 3-mile run, so.
Now, I will say, when I saw that graveyard, I was like, are we going to the graveyard that we were at in the beginning? And I was like, no, okay, this is just a very different graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was supposed to be like a gotcha kind of thing. Probably not, but it got me.
I feel like you're the only person who was got by that. Yeah. No?
Well, I was trying to tell who was going to die. And so I was just trying to figure out if there was clues.
Oh, okay. You were trying harder than you needed to.
Yeah.
To figure out who Truck Gun was going to come take out.
Yeah, I mean, he strikes again.
Twice in this movie. Presumably.
Well, I mean, accurately at least. I mean, talk about just poor luck in life. You get crippled from the waist down after one car accident, and then you die in a car accident.
10 years later.
10 years later.
He might not have even seen 30. Probably didn't.
Yeah, that's pretty tragic, actually.
It is pretty tragic.
That's
we
pretty
just, gloss over that, too.
Yeah, it's just a little footnote at the end, that's
like,
nice.
it is like kind of the premise of the film.
Yeah, like they're mourning this guy that was significant. Because him and, Julius became really close friends, and a lot of that is how the team came together. And so it really represents that.
Yeah, and they're all there at the end. I don't know. I guess maybe we should work our way through this story. Yeah. So they start with the graveyard scene. Wait, did you like that? Did you like that as a scene?
I kind of wish it wasn't there.
You kind of wish that the premise wasn't like that?
Yeah.
This was really started right in.
Because now you're going through the whole movie thinking, okay, someone's going to die. I'm looking for the clues or whatever. Now, maybe that's on me. But I just think the moment when the kids hit would be a lot better if you had no premise. As soon as he was in that car alone, I was like, well, actually, I figured it was him the moment that he was like, oh, I'll go off on my own. I'm like, okay, something's going to happen. I thought he was actually going to die there. And I thought that would have been really, emotional kind of. I think that would have been good. But, accuracy is important, so I respect that. And so, I was like, okay, yeah, this guy, he's the one who's going to get in an accident of some kind. I already knew. And I just feel like the surprise would have been better if I didn't have that setup.
That's fair. I feel like the emotive hit could have been better there.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that we started with him, like, being dead and that whole deal, and then, the little girl is narrating. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is how this starts, and it's kind of weird.
When she started narrating, I'm like, oh, yes, the Southern accent.
Oh, a heavy Southern accent.
Here we go.
I know you missed that.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in the South for a few years, and I got accustomed to it while I was down there. But it's been a while since I lived there, and then I hear it, and I'm like, oh, this is taking me back.
You were so happy. And then most of them didn't have a Southern accent after that.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed, actually. I wanted them to all have a Southern accent.
I mean, it would have been more accurate, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, seemingly more accurate, I guess. But yeah, then we move in to the integration deal, and they're all talking, right, about what's going to happen with the football team.
Yeah. You're not head coach any longer. Sucks to be you.
Yeah, I feel like what was jacked about that is that, Coach Boone over there is like, look, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm not going to, take the head coach position from this guy when I, just left a situation that was jacked like that for that reason. And then he walks out and he gets all swept up.
Well, I thought the point of that scene was that he wasn't going to lose. His intention wasn't to lose that position again. Because he had lost the opportunity, right, because he was black. They had chosen a white guy that seemingly wasn't qualified like he was, like he had already proven himself. He didn't get that position for a stupid reason. And then here, where he's getting the position, he's like, I'm going to lose this chance.
No, that's clearly not the intention of that scene. Because the doc guy is over there trying to be like, this is important to the people of this town that you're in this position. You gotta keep it, right? Because he's over there like, I'm not about to do that to someone else. That's the point of the story. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He definitely says, like, I, moved out here because I was looked over for a job that was rightfully mine, and I'm not about to do that to someone else, right? I'm not going to take someone else's job that's rightfully theirs.
Maybe I really misunderstood that.
Yeah, and then he's, talking about it, and then he walks out there, and he's, floored about how important it is to all of them that they have representation now.
I mean, he had a big crowd.
Yeah, that scene only makes sense in that fashion.
I think it works either way.
No.
Like, the other way is just, reaffirms his commitment.
Yeah, but they clearly were having a conversation about, how things are supposed to be going down. And they were at conflict with each other.
I don't know. Maybe I just assumed that was what the conversation was meant to be about at the beginning. And I was like, oh, okay. That's what I got.
No, I think you were dead wrong. But yeah, that scene was just kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool and inspirational.
That felt like a movie scene to me. Where he comes out and there's this large swarm of people. Now, I understand. It makes sense. But maybe it was just the way it was saw it. I don't know. It felt like a movie scene to me.
Yeah, I mean, we're not as friendly nowadays, right? Neighbors don't just go over to their neighbor's house. Now, I don't know that if you live in a town of massive racism, that you go to the white neighborhood and form a crowd of, a bunch of colored people, though. They were suspicious of, Coach Boone moving in and making a bunch of racist comments. I don't know that it goes well if you're, crowding around on the street where everybody else is white, right?
I mean, in that age, I really don't know. I mean, legally they could.
Yeah, legally they could, but that doesn't mean that they should.
Do the police of that era, or any era, gonna agree with that? Don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that added to the level of non-believable point there.
It's what I was saying about it feeling safe. This felt like a safe Disney moment.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But basically all of it was, right? Nobody thought they were going to lose at any point, right?
The games?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was like a sports film, and, this team has to come up, and the stakes were already put, right?
Yeah, the stakes were specifically, you can't lose a game.
But he gets called on his crap for getting too into the winning thing, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was good. I feel like that was a believable transformation. He's not too big on it at the beginning. He's trying, right? Because he wants to win. And it feels like a natural, like, I just want to win.
Yeah.
Right? I coach football because I like football and I like winning. All right.
All fair.
But then as it gets later, he clearly is, like, more tense and frustrated and, like, everything matters because there's more at stake and the stress of, knowing that one loss is the end.
I mean, that would be really stressful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, your family just moved here, and you got this job, this opportunity. You're trying to make a mark, probably pretty historical, especially in a town like that. I mean, there's a lot riding on him, and that's a lot of pressure. That'd be difficult. So I understand it. I mean, it works well. Specifically, I mean, everything revolving around that character, though, just worked well in the movie. But he's clearly the main character, so good on him.
Yep. But then, I don't really know. Like, they go to camp after that, right?
Well, I mean, the white people of the town are all mad, right? Because you have these other people coming into the team that aren't, white, and they're mad, and then the coach is gonna leave, or Yost is, right? He originally was like gonna leave and move, right? That's what he was saying to everybody. But then he decides that he's got to stay and stick up for his boys or whatever. And then he comes back, kind of just invades their first talk and everything, and doesn't have, like, it's clearly still like a conflict there. And that leads to them going to the camp together with the buses, and then he has them all get off the bus and is like, no, you're going to sit next to your teammate that I had choose for you. And he specifically chose a white and a black person to sit by each other as much as they could.
I mean, conveniently, they were evenly split.
Yeah. Whew, that worked out well. And then they go to camp. Now, there is a good scene there where he makes a kid call him his daddy. And that is a very, very good scene, don't you think?
It's pretty funny. Like, it's a good play, right? He publicly shames him.
Yeah.
Right? And like, asserts control of the situation. And then, breaks him down. And I feel like that worked pretty well.
I just thought, if that was written today, I don't know that you would say, who's your daddy?
You wouldn't, right? It's too much of a sexual overtone at this point.
Yeah.
To make it work.
So it was just a little funny, a little humorous, but it worked. It was a good scene. I like the bus leading through the camp. I think that's the best part of the movie. I think that's all pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that showcases the leadership skills really well, and really kind of him building the team, and him being like, all right, we're gonna make this work. And if you do not, work with me, your life will be hell. I have the power to make that happen. Do what I want. But he really does a good job with, what's the fat kid's name? You do not write this down?
I was looking up, trying to get character names, but the problem was, it became a list of, this actor played this character, and I'm like, I don't know who this actor is, and I don't know what their name is, so this isn't very useful to me anymore. I do not know.
Anyway, his name started with like an L, or his last name did, or whatever. When he's getting along with everybody,
yeah,
and then he uses that, like Denzel Washington uses that to publicly shame them, right? That's a good scene where he's like, hey, buddy, stand up. Tell me anything. And he tells him like this weird, intimate thing that only a high school student would think is acceptable to share in front of a crowd.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
There's some questionable underwear. Yeah.
Yeah, but he proves himself that he knew more than that.
Yeah, but then he doesn't, and he's like, anybody else?
Nope, just this one guy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna stop right now, guys. And yeah, I think that works really well.
Yeah.
Right? It's very much, the whole thing is just like foreshadowing to how, good relations will be.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, says he won't go to college because he's too stupid, and then he's like, well, you know what, I'm gonna coach you, but I'm also gonna help you with your studies. Come to me at the end of the week, every week, and we'll get that sorted out and whatnot. It shows that he's more than just a coach looking, like he's looking out for their future. Yeah,
which is fair. I feel like we could have used a scene where he was in his office figuring that out, right?
Yeah, but I get it. I mean, you get the resolution of it at the end, so it works.
I mean, you do. It was also a funny scene. I'm eligible. I'm a happily married man.
It's a pretty good scene.
Yeah, it works itself out. The other thing that Denzel Washington says when they're having their confrontation after they storm into the first meeting that I think is really funny, he's like, "You're overcooking my grits." And I was like...
I've never heard someone say that. But grits should just be non-existent.
Grits are pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
If you're a grits lover, we need you to say that. It's important so that we know that you are not trustworthy.
Very true.
And if you don't like grits, well, that's good. A+. That's all it takes. Grits or no grits. Like,
I mean, that's pretty easy criteria.
it's a pretty simple criteria here.
Yeah.
But yeah, only in the South would you make a reference about grits.
It's true.
Because nobody eats them anywhere else.
I feel like there's places you can't even buy them. Nobody wants them.
The grits are like a staple in restaurants down there, aren't they? Like, generally a lot of restaurants have grits on their menu.
Yeah, like if you're at a Cracker Barrel or something, right? Grits are definitely there. Like, you get pancakes or something. They'll oftentimes come with grits, but you can substitute it for, like, other things oftentimes.
That's the thing. Like, it's a normal menu item down there.
Yeah.
We do not have grits on any menu except probably Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, and then you get, like, okra a lot down there, stuff like that.
Okra's fine. I don't hate okra.
Yeah, but that was a food where it's like I'd never even heard of okra until I moved down there.
Oh, really?
Or at least visited down there. I was like, what the? Because when my dad moved back down there and we drove from Washington all the way down to Alabama, we stopped in, I think, like Arkansas or something at a fast food place. And my dad ordered okra, and I'm like, what the hell is okra? And because I'd never heard of it, and then we got some, and I think it's pretty good, actually. I do like it. That's just one of those things where it's like, I'd never even heard of it, but it's really popular down there.
Okra's good. I don't like fried okra, but I feel like what you're talking about. You're talking about fried okra.
Well, you can get it either way, but the first time I tried it, it was fried.
But I'm not a big fan of, like, fried foods in general, for the most part. I eat a much healthier diet than you do, subsiding on Pop-Tarts and Cheez-Its.
And bananas. And oranges. And that's it. That's all you eat. Well, that's not fair. You eat cheese and...
I eat a lot of cheese.
Cheese sandwiches or peanut butter and honey. Just
peanut butter and jelly.
Just disgusting. Eat something good.
Oh, I do. Anyway, returning back to the actual, podcast here. Where do we fall off the train at?
Camp.
That's fair. Yeah, we haven't made it very far. But yeah, the camp scenes were pretty good. Like, I like that. He works it out pretty well.
It's a good part of the movie.
And then they all come back, and Gary's having trouble with his girlfriend because she's a racist.
That's true.
Emma is a racist person.
There's a lot of people having a lot of troubles.
Yeah, I feel like it showed the cultural divide really well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I assume it was probably much worse, actually, in real life, but...
Well, busing apparently did not go very well. Which is why some people were, like, against busing, because they're like, look, people are too racist to let this work. Like, there's going to be some bad problems if we allow integration to happen. Not because necessarily I'm racist and don't think this is something that we need to get past. I just don't think everybody else has passed it. And it's going to be a real problem. We are endangering the safety of students.
Yeah, I mean,
like a real argument.
Being on the school board in that time probably would have been very difficult. I mean, even if you're racist, it was difficult because you have to face this integration, and if you were trying to be progressive, I guess you could say at the time, and try to integrate, then you had a lot of obstacles to overcome, and a lot of safety concerns, and how is this going to work, and things like a sports team, how you're going to integrate the teams, and because all the teams that they played against were all white, they were the only integrated team, and you could kind of see. You could see it with the coaches on the other side, right? You didn't really focus on any of the other students, but the coaches on the other side were all pretty racist, and especially the one that called him like a monkey or whatever.
It's a funny scene, though.
When he throws the banana at him.
I won't do anything with him, and then he's like, oh, I go. And he turns around and he tosses the banana. Like a good-looking banana, though, too. He tossed no green banana.
Yeah. So, like, that was a pretty good scene. And it just goes to show. And that one also had like the referee that was trying to game it.
Well, yeah, the board or whatever, the Hall of Fame board or whatever, it was all corrupt all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty messed up situation.
I feel like what was good is that Yost over there, he knows those people, and he comes in and he's like, nah, this is gonna stop. We're gonna make this work. I will make sure that this all goes downhill, buddy.
Yeah, he's like, I'll sacrifice my career.
And so that was like a nice, honorable, like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
you see him kind of transform and move forward. And...
yeah, you've seen him, who was like he was trepidatious at the beginning, at the very least.
He was like respectfully racist.
Yeah,
He wasn't like, I'm gonna call you the N-word.
Yeah, he was doubtful, right?
I don't know.
But I mean, the camp, and then the games and whatever, right, was like a learning moment for everybody. Which I mean, I think it's a good part of the movie, right? Showing people can learn and become better, like the whole message.
Yeah, stop being racist.
Right. That's
for you.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at you, it's hard.
Oh, that hurts.
It's hard.
That hurts. So like that's the movie, right? I guess. I mean, kind of touched on everything.
You have the camp
at this point,
and then you have the games that they win.
I feel like we've touched on everything. Is there any scenes in there you felt we haven't talked about that you need to talk about?
I kind of like the scene where Julius is going to visit Gary, and he says good morning or whatever to the two old women that are walking by, and they're all like shocked. And then the police car shows up, and he's clearly like nervous and whatnot. And then the officer is like, "That was a good game you guys played and everything, right?" I like that scene. I thought that was a touching scene. And then he walks over and meets his mom and everything, and I think that was a good scene. I like that.
It's really well acted on everybody's part. Like, the old women are clearly terrified, right? Like,
yeah.
And he's a big man.
Yeah, he's tall.
Right? And if you already distrust colored people, this big guy just standing on the side of the road, that is not helping anything. Right? And then, yeah, the cop car pulls up. I did not remember how that scene went. And I was like, oh, man, this old lady's called the cops? That's reasonable. They would do that. Oh, it's not modern day. They don't have a cell phone. And then, yeah, he stops, and they're both clearly, like, uncomfortable. Like, that police officer is just, like, really trying to just say his piece and thing, and he's really, he's just trying to stay focused and get his words out.
Well, yeah, it came across as, like, he was wanting to be careful, and it's almost like he was hesitant, but he wanted the try.
I feel like that was supposed to be, and it was acted well, and clearly, I mean, when a cop car pulls you over in that modern era, you definitely are not thinking anything good happens from that.
I mean, that'd be pretty terrifying.
I mean, in modern day, I mean,
people say it's terrifying now, so... and I can only imagine it was worse back then.
I worked with a kid who was colored, and he was driving out over in one of these small towns out there, which has a bad history of being really racist, and he got pulled over in town, and he was, like, legit terrified for his life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's some small towns down in, like, Alabama that are pretty scary.
Yeah, so it's definitely still a real issue, but not quite as bad. But the best part of that scene is that he goes up to the door, right? And I feel like that was kind of weird that he could have just walked up to the door the whole time. Like, I don't know what he was doing standing out there. Like, it didn't feel like he was deliberating if he should go in or not.
Working up the courage.
It didn't feel like that to me. I don't know. But then he gets up there and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know your taxi had sirens." And I'm like, that's a pretty good little quip.
It's clever. But
yeah.
No, I think that was a good scene. I think that's one of the better ones.
Pretty decent. What do you think about the little dance number that they do when they're coming onto the field?
The choreography of it, or the song, or both?
Well, not the one where they're dancing, the one where they're coming out of the gate, like, doing their little chant thing.
With their little march where they're like bending over and then coming back up.
I don't know if there's any choreography to that. They're just doing their thing.
There definitely would have to be something, like, you'd have to, like, get everybody to be in sync and everything.
In sync is not the same thing as choreographed. The other one is choreographed. They're like dancing.
I feel like it's all choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
It works. Like, I saw it and I felt like, yeah, that looks like something a football team would do.
I just think, like, I don't really understand why that needs to happen with sports. Like, I feel like it's specifically football, right? I don't see baseball players going out there doing a little chant before the game, or like changing innings and they're out there having a little chant when they take the field. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
like, why is this weird thing in football?
Well, I don't. I mean, other sports have half times, right? I mean, baseball is not the same, but like, doesn't like hockey and soccer have half times?
I mean, they have half times, but like, are people going out onto the field doing their weird thing?
I don't know. I don't watch those sports. Basketball has half times. I think they do that in basketball, right? Yeah, because they have like competitions sometimes out on the court where.
Yeah, but they don't have like little chant things as a team, right? That's what I'm
I don't
specifically
know.
talking about.
I mean, it's a high school setting. I can believe it.
I just don't understand.
You have cheerleaders. That's the difference, right? The cheerleaders are the ones doing this stuff, generally.
I mean, the cheerleaders in this movie were pretty sad.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were cheering very well.
Yeah, they were just kind of there.
They
Like,
just
oh,
felt
yeah,
like
cheerleaders
extras.
would be here, so... Yeah, you'll be on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely felt like extras.
Yeah, they did. But it worked, and then they do their song. I liked it. I mean, there's 2 songs that they play in this film, or sing in this film. And I like both of them.
I mean, they play a lot of songs. So why don't you enlighten us as to your 2 songs here?
Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Uh-huh.
Nah, nah, hey, hey, kiss him goodbye. That's the name of that song.
No, that's actually the name of that song.
I'm pretty sure.
You didn't look it up.
I did look it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is not what I thought the name of that song would be.
What did you think it would be?
I just thought it'd be something shorter. That's just really long.
It's pretty long. But I think those are both good tunes. Easy to sing to. Big Blue's over there belting them out.
I mean, they're all pretty much belting it out frequently.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, it works for the context of the movie. And I think there are good standalone songs either way. They could have used more. They could have found some other songs.
It become a musical at that point, I think.
Maybe.
So, like, if they start singing more songs together.
Did those songs come out in that time period?
I don't know. You didn't look that up when you did it?
No.
Why not?
Didn't think about it.
Failure.
It's true.
Perfection. That's what we're shooting for.
I'm sorry. I will be perfect next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they used a lot of old songs, but, like, it's supposed to be an old movie. And so I don't know.
It's an old movie about an older time before that.
I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And we listen to a lot of, like, you know, classic, like, rock or things at work. Well, it's country or classic rock, basically. And so you hear these, like, old songs over there.
They needed some heavy metal in this movie. Just head banging.
I mean, instead of the weird folk music of your good friend. Yeah, the only actor you recognize.
Ryan Gosling.
There you go.
Well, I also recognize Denzel Washington.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, Ryan Gosling doing his weird, I don't know what that was. Palpatably awkward.
Yeah.
That's a funny scene,
That's
though.
pretty funny.
Does the term cruel and unusual punishment mean anything to you? And he just keeps going. Like, he seems kind of lonely, like, as a character.
Mm.
And, like, he was like, this is a forced time where someone has to listen to me? Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
Would you like to listen? Nobody wants to listen to that.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, though, where he's like, I don't even have to ask, but I'm going to, like.
I was actually... So when that happened in that scene, I was wondering... I tried to pay a little bit of attention to the song. I don't know what song it was. But it reminded me of the Key and Peele skit where he invites the guy over to this house and they go down into the basement.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm a country fan." And he starts singing these songs and they're all like really racist. And he's like, "Yo, that's racist." And he's like, "Nah, man, it's country." I was wondering if this was going to be like a racist song in the background, but it didn't sound like it. And that's just that's the skit I thought of. And I'm like, that probably wouldn't fly very well. But I don't know, that's what I thought.
That's a really good skit. It's really well written.
Yeah, it's great.
I really like his justifications for that. Like, the last one's really good. Where he's like, no, it's a tire swing. And then he's, like, singing it to himself at the end, and he's like, I see. I see it now.
Yeah, that's a good song. That's a good skit.
Unrelated, but funny skit. Any other grand moments in this? Any other wonderful scenes?
Truck Gun. I always like seeing him.
I mean, Truck Gun's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good move.
My number one favorite character.
But no, I mean, we got it.
We got it, huh?
Almost perfect episode. Just didn't get those years. Dang.
Yeah, it saddens me that you didn't do that.
Drop the ball.
I do want to say, I do feel like their audio is good, like, throughout the whole thing. Their mood music is there when it needs to be, and it just works, right?
I thought, like, the music that played, like, during Boone's, like, speech felt kind of generic. Like it worked, but it was generic.
But it set the mood, right? You knew what you were getting into.
Oh, I mean...
You weren't confused.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is.
It set the mood for inspirational speech time.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was grand. I don't think it was innovative. I don't think we reinvented how to do an inspirational scene.
This movie was not innovative.
But it fit, right?
Maybe it was for the time, was it? I don't know. Was there a movie like this before it that touched upon this time in sports? I don't know.
Yeah, nothing else do you need to say?
We need to tell the people who they can talk to.
They need to tell, rave reviews about how great, how badass is.
That's right. Go to your local high school football team. Tell them all about it. Don't be a creep, though. That would not be good. Be careful.
I mean, maybe you keep your distance. You throw something in there.
Yeah, maybe. Yell at them. Maybe during the game. You're up on the bleachers.
Just up a banner.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good plan.
This could be good. Well, it's been a pleasure. You like, follow. We already told you, you gotta go tell your local football team. All the social media, we're on all that. Do our updates on that. Just follow that. This was a pleasurable experience for you. It was a pleasurable experience for me.
And me.
What are you giving this?
A safe 7.
I'm giving this a 6 out of 10.
Have at us.